Speaking of advice, don't you think whether it is Supreme Court, a woman on the Supreme Court, or a woman feeling confident, is it a good tactic to just sort of fake it till it happens? Do you think that a woman should pretend and sort of feel that she has that confidence, just like what Judy was saying, if somebody says, can you do this, even if you don't know how?
Well, there's a difference between pretending to have confidence versus pretending to work inside a box just to fit in, okay?
No, very different.
Look, I think it's like everything else. If you fake it long enough, it almost comes to be, right?
So that's how other women...
I absolutely agree with that.
Yeah.
I mean, Sarah even asked me before when we were talking about, a concept that I'd come up with for Stila, and she's like, how do you take that risk? How do you do that? I said, look, I do that every day. I mean, that's actually who I am, right?
Yeah.
I buy companies that are broken, that have died due to the loss of innovation. The only way you breathe new life into companies is by literally, you have to leapfrog where others are with new innovation. And with Stila, it's different because the company has not lost the innovation. It just needs certain distinct things. But sometimes I have iconic American brands that haven't evolved in 20 years, right? So if I'm unable to innovate beyond and take that risk, then they're not going to live anyhow. So, you have to take that chance. But part of it is just literally when I say dreaming the dream, right? My belief is if I can dream it, I can build it. And when you do it once, then you can keep doing it. And you can't be afraid to fail because success never comes as a straight shot. I always say I lived the roller coaster to hell, right? It's highs and lows, but anyone, who is successful has failed and fallen, okay? It's how you react to those failures and falls that defines who you are, because we don't transform in good times. When things are going well, it's like if it ain't broke, you don't fix it, right? You just keep going. But when do you really transform? It's when you've fallen. When you've gotten hurt, when you've failed, when you're unhappy, right? That's when you have to really look deep inside and change who you are.
Well, that's how you pick yourself up.
Right. So I can say that every day I fall down, I make mistakes, and every day is a constant continuum of evolutionary process for me. Because not only am I responsible for my own mistakes, but I'm responsible for the mistakes of all the people around me. And so it's not hard for me to raise my hand and say I'm wrong or I made a mistake. It's always about what I do from it and how quickly I build process around it. So many people try to protect their stance. They can't ever fail. They can't ever be wrong. And you know what? Then they live in that small little box of who they are, never changing, never evolving, never growing, never growing into who you can be. So I think the first day that you can admit you're frail and flawed and make a mistake, it's such a damn freedom, right?
It's so liberating.